Hello, this is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. Now, I've been dying to tell you about this work for the longest time. I really have. This is magnificent, something you absolutely have to hear and probably don't know. Some of you will, of course, because some of you know everything. But seriously, it's Joaquin Turina's Canto a Sevilla, Songs of Seville. Wow, what a piece this is. The fact that it's unknown is mind-blowing, totally mind-blowing. This is sort of the Spanish Das Lied von der Erde, if you want to call it that. It's written for soprano, it's mezzo-soprano vocalist, and a gorgeous, nice, big, hefty, colorful orchestra. It's vintage Turina, that is just drop-dead gorgeous, colorfully, beautifully scored and voluptuous and tuneful and full of everything Spanish, the melody, the rhythm, the harmony. It's just to die for. It's in 7 movements. 4 of them are vocal. 3 of them are purely orchestral. There's a prelude and a postlude that are orchestral. And then in the center, a noche de feria, a festival evening full of all that swirling color and stuff that we all love about Spanish festival type music. It's gorgeous. It's beyond gorgeous. The vocal movements, just to let you know, are Semana Santa, which is Holy Week, Las Fuentecitas del Parque, that's the little fountains in the park, La Fantasma, the spook, the phantasm, right? And then finally, La Giralda, which is the bell tower of Seville Cathedral. It's just heartbreakingly beautiful. Now, it's been recorded a handful of times, maybe 3, 4, or 5. I don't know. I've heard 4 of them. I'm only going to mention 3 because the others aren't worth bothering with, basically. But the most famous one was an old mono version on EMI, now Warner, sung by Victoria de Los Angeles. Victoria de Los Angeles, who are we kidding? It's very, very beautiful, but recorded in somewhat dim mono sound. And that was how I learned it. Because I never heard of this thing. Who knew, right? And then what happened was, once I finally heard the work, I, of course, wanted to grab a score and find a score or do something so I could learn it. So I went out and I got the score. Well, that's when I found out why it's so infrequently performed. Because although it's in 7 movements, the score is published in 2 parts, the vocal bits and the orchestral bits. And they're completely separate. I couldn't even find a score of the orchestral bits. They're not, I don't even know if they're the same publisher. In order to reassemble it and do the complete work, and it is a single work, it was never intended to be performed separately, you have to get parts and orchestral parts, and you have to rent them separately for the orchestral bits and the vocal bits. It's total moronic idiocy. But I know that this is a problem because this recording, which is on Hensler, was made at my suggestion because they were looking for some repertoire. And I said, why don't you do the Canto a Sevilla? All we have is Victoria de Los Angeles, who did it, a million years ago. And there was another one. On, I think it was on or one of those labels, or Artie Nova. That was the label. There was one of those that was, And so I said, look, we need a good modern recording of it, right? So do it. Do it. So they started looking into it. And that's when I found out that actually getting the piece so that you can perform it is a real pain in the ass. It really is. And can you believe it? It blows my mind. It really does. But, the state of a lot of these pieces of music even by major composers, Italian operas and things that could be popular is horrible. And if it's a very little known piece by a composer who, however beautiful and wonderful he may be, exists kind of on the margins of the international repertoire, there's no incentive to do like a Turina critical edition and make an actual score that, maybe somebody will want to perform the bloody thing. So you don't hear it very often. Anyway, this performance, which is on Hensler, is with Lucia Duchanova, Duchanova, who cares how I pronounce it, with the NDR Radio Philharmonia under Celso Antunes. It's not bad. It's really not bad. I think as a singer, Duchanova is a little bit sort of, shall we say, Slavic of timbre, which means a little squally and not all that beautiful in terms of just the sheer sound of the voice. And you want a voice that's really beautiful for this. Victoria de los Angeles had that. She really did. And this though has other Turina vocal music, which is wonderful. His orchestral songs, the Poema en forma de canciones, the Farruca and the Sieta en forma de salve. So for that reason alone, because you get this wonderful, Turina music of songs with orchestra, the Hensler recording here is certainly worth looking into. However, if you really want to hear the piece performed beautifully in a gorgeous modern recording, yay for Chandos! They did it. They did it with the usually boring BBC Philharmonic, but the conductor is Juanjo Mena, who does a very, very good job with this orchestra. For some reason, he gets them to play. He's a good conductor. He makes them pay attention, and they really do play. And this recording is gorgeous. You get La Procesión del Rocío and the Rhapsodia Sinfonica with, let's see, who is this? Oh, with Martin Roscoe at the piano. Plays it very nicely. And the very rarely heard Danzas Gitanas. And finally, Canto a Sevilla. Now, this piece, just so you know, it's 37 minutes long. So it is an absolutely perfect second half work for a major concert. I mean, it's as long as your average decent romantic symphony, right? You get a soprano and who can sing in Spanish and who can't sing in Spanish. It's not one of your more difficult languages. The music is wonderfully gratifying. It doesn't have a dull bar, and colorful and sumptuously lyrical and beautiful. And I can't even begin to describe just how much you're going to love this piece if you actually take the trouble to hear it. So if you're going to get it, and you are going to get it because you have to, get the Chandos recording. The Chandos recording with Maria Espada, soprano, first-rate soprano, and you will have a piece of music that you will not believe you have gone this long before hearing. It's a complete shocker that people don't know this work. It really is. I mean, even Victoria de los Angeles' recording was something that, anybody knew was out there, basically. You'd look at it and you go, it's Turina, It's so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. So I cannot recommend strongly enough that you get Turina's Canto a Sevilla. Pronounce it however you want. I don't care. Just listen to the bloody thing. You got it? Keep on listening, folks. Thank you so much.